Hello, and welcome to the Diaspora Chiefs Podcast. We love having you here. The show is for ambitious Africans and Caribbeans in the diaspora who want to start, grow, and scale their business. And it's our mission to bring you all the latest and greatest tips, high-income skills, and know-how on all things digital to create the best lifestyle for you and your family. We know that you have it in you. And now, let's get started with the Diaspora Chiefs host, Victor Osio.
Yes. Welcome to another wonderful episode of the Diaspora Chiefs podcast. Today, I have a phenomenon in this show right now. This guy, you cannot believe he's an enigma, kind of, because you wouldn't even believe, but I will allow you to hear his story. His name is Kingsley Ijomah. He's from Nigeria. Wait a minute. He's going to the Olympics. So we have an Olympian. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Kingsley Ijomah.
Thank you very much, Victor. Thank you. I'm so happy to be on your podcast. Thanks for having me.
Great. Kingsley, you have an amazing story. So I would like us to just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. All right. So in October, I qualified for the Paralympics. So I'm starting from the very end, and I'll work my way towards it. When I was very young, when I was a 9-month-old baby, I had polio, and polio affected both legs. So I had to use crutches to walk, and I used wheelchair for long distance as well. And as time went on, as a child growing up in Lagos, I still did everything with my friends, like playing football, and I'll be the goalkeeper, or be the ref. So I've always been active and doing things in my own way, and I've never seen my disability as something that prevented me from doing things. I just saw it as a way of doing things differently. Fast forward years later, we moved from Lagos to London, and then I started working as a computer programmer. Years later, I was living in a place called Warwick in the Midlands, and I wanted something doing just to keep active, and I decided to join a rowing club in Warwick, and that's how the whole journey started. So I would go out and I would row in the evenings and row in the weekend just for fun, to see, just to have something doing. And gradually, I started competing in local competitions, in regattas. I started going to international competitions. And one day I was called to join the GB rowing team, development squad for the Paralympics. And then I was scouted by our own country, my own country of birth, Nigeria, and started training remotely and competing for and representing Nigeria. And in October this year, 2019, I qualified for the Paralympics.
Wow, that is a powerful story. You might mention that you were born in Nigeria and you were diagnosed when you were 9 years old. Can you remember how does that actually make you interact with everyone in the society?
Yeah, so of course I have no memory of that period, but I remember from what my parents said. So as a baby, I actually walked when I was 9. I was 8 months, so I was the fastest to walk in the family. And then when I was 9 months old, I became very sick, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong. They just know if they put me down to sit me down, I would just fall back down. I refused to stand on my legs, and I just kept crying. So they started driving around, going to different hospitals and trying to diagnose the issue. So they realized it was polio. And the earliest memories I have of myself as a child was always like watching, studying people walk. And I think I must have been maybe 7, 8 years old. And I was seeing people stand. I started learning. I was thinking to myself, okay, I thought it was a learning difficulty. I thought it was something that I had to learn how to do. And gradually, I figured out how to stand unaided. And that was like my first challenge, the first thing I can say I passed, an obstacle. And growing up, I carried on being active and carried on learning from everyone else around me. I don't think that I saw much, disability in myself. I just saw the process of getting better, as opposed to I am disabled and therefore I can't do X, Y, Z. So I wanted to do something that would make me some money. So, learning to become a computer programmer was the route I chose. And that, had nothing to do with disability. You just use your mind and you use your hands to type. And it just went from there, really. Yeah.
Yeah. So was this because I can just feel a sense of this very positive mindset, this strong mental ability that you've got. So was there any particular input from your family or support from your family?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Family are always supported. Oh, yeah. Moms are just brilliant, especially when it comes to moms who have children with disability. So my mom was a huge, huge, huge inspiration for me. And my family, my brothers, my sisters, the support has always been there. And they've always seen me as being very active, So I used to play wheelchair basketball years back, and I've always sort of been that person where, I don't know, the idea for me is to be the best version of yourself. And being disabled meant that, okay, what is the best version that I can be, regardless of what my disability is? So if I wanted to be active in sport, then I have to find a sport I have to do. If I have to go to the gym to get fit, then I have to go to the gym and get fit. None of those things are disabilities. Going to the gym is the mental state of mind. I have to get up at this time and I have to go there and I have to do this and I have to come back and I have to do something else. So disabilities never stop me from getting up in the morning and being active.
Yeah, because the thing is, most even people that can walk, see, the bottom line is this mental disability. That's what really messes people up. Not any form of being physical, financial,
Yes.
or spiritual, but
Absolutely.
mostly the mental aspect that really messes us up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
why rowing in the first place?
That's a question, because 2012, London Olympics, Paralympics, to me, rowing hadn't even entered into my radar. It wasn't even a thing at all. I found myself in the Midlands, outside of the hustle and bustle of London, and then I found I had extra time. That was literally it, And I thought, okay, I have this extra time. My commute from work to home was like 5 minutes, So I thought, okay, what can I do to keep myself busy, entertained, and just to do stuff? And there was a rowing club that was in Stratford-upon-Avon, which wasn't far from where I lived. So I went there just to see what they had. In fact, before I went there, I was invited to a dinner by somebody who was a member of the rowing club. So I went there for dinner, and a lot of the people on the table thought I was already a rower. So they kept saying to me, "Oh yeah, you have very broad shoulders. You look athletic and all that stuff." And I had to explain to them that no, I'm actually disabled, because when people see you sitting down, they can't tell. So I took the crutches and shit and said, "No, I'm disabled and I'm not a rower," because in my mind, rowing is something that you do with your whole body, especially your legs involved. So one of them then said to me that there's a para rowing team in so and so club in Stratford-upon-Avon, and that was it. And I just saying that, I thought, I wonder what that means. So I went to the club the following weekend just to try it out, and that was it. I was blown away. Just being out on the water on your own. It was the clarity was just incredible. You're just in your own thought, your own element, and it it was for me. It was almost like discovering how to walk, but on the water. It was magical, and competition hadn't even come into my mind at this point. It was just, this is fantastic feeling of just being out in nature this way. So I went back the following weekend and signed up properly, and I just started training, and just for fun, and rowing with the other members of the club. And I was the only adaptive or para rower in the club. So I had a coach given to me, and and they were trying to figure these things out. The political correctness.
Yeah.
We need to cater for everybody.
Yeah, they don't want to offend you or say something that you might get like iffy about.
Yeah, but it's interesting because a lot of people will say I am disabled or I'm an ethnic minority, and I don't want to go into this place, because what I haven't said, and I'm sure everyone has probably inferred, is I was the only black person in the club.
Mm-hmm.
I was the only disabled person in the club. So, so the I would have just said, okay, there's no equipment for me. It wasn't designed for me. It's not fully accessible for me, and there's no coach who's specialized for me. But that wasn't the case. A coach was made available, and together we learned how to make it work, because everybody's disability is different. So we had to find one. We need a boat that I could use, because able-bodied rowers, they sit on a seat that slides forward. Okay, they go back and forth. And adaptive or para rowers, we row on a fixed seat. Okay. So you use your upper body more than an able-body would use. You rock back and forth. I'll put the video up on Lagos to Tokyo.com, and you can see an example of what rowing looks like for an adaptive rower. So they made all the provisions for me there, and that's how I started. And I've moved out of the Midlands now, but they've carried on. They have 15 adaptive rowers now, so the program carried on.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Just for you being in that in the Midlands and just taking on action.
Yeah, just by going there and attempting to row, and then making provisions, so it's grown since then.
You've inspired more 15 people to take up the sport.
In that particular club. Yeah, incredible.
That's just incredible. See, we are in presence of a legend right now.
Yeah.
So why the Olympics? What are the qualifications? Why the Olympics?
Oh, man. So, okay, I'm gonna be a bit funny, but if the Olympics is easy, okay, the hard bit is Paralympics, okay.
Okay.
Because the Olympics are people using their full body, your able-bodied, the biggest muscle in your body is your legs, and you're using it to row. Try just using your arms, right? That is hard. And we're doing it over the same distance. So this is 2 kilometers. Whether you're rowing with just your arms or you're rowing with your arms and your legs, we're doing 2 kilometers. And when I tell you it is painful, I mean it is hard. All right? So yes, Olympians are great, you've made it, but Paralympics is hard. Because sometimes when I train, I ask my able-bodied rower friends, to row against me, just to push me on.
Yeah.
So I get them to row with just their arms, and so they feel the pain, So why the Paralympics? That was the only path. So when I started rowing, I was rowing for fun, as a way to fill in my spare time. All right. Mm-hmm. So that was going good. And then we had to do Oxford Regatta, rowing competition. So I represented my local club.
Okay.
And that was my first intro into the world of competitions. All right. So I won that first one, and I just caught that bug. And then the more you race, the more you do these competitions, the more you have to look for the next thing. And that for me, it got to the point where I've raced throughout, England, and then I represented England in the home internationals against Wales and Scotland, and then I won that one, and then we had to go international to race in Boston, and once you get, that progression, the highest, uh, you know, challenge becomes the Paralympics. For everyone who rows, the Olympics and the Paralympics is like the pinnacle, the very top, where you compete against like-minded people, but from different countries, people who have sacrificed the same, if not more, than yourself. So it was a natural, it was a natural track for me. It just happened one. I didn't pick up rowing and say I'm going to the Paralympics. It was never ever that, but it was just something that just kept building on and building on and building on.
Yeah, because just by saying the Paralympics,
Mm-hmm.
see, it's not a mean feat. To what was the mindset? Why, how did you, and how long did it take you to, like you say, okay,
Yeah,
from, you said from Lagos to Tokyo. So how
yeah,
long did it take you to making a decision is easy,
yeah,
but sticking to it
yeah.
is another thing. So how did you stick to this?
Oh yeah. All right. So yeah, that's a very, very good question. A very difficult one to answer because everyone that I know who, all the rowers I know are like, they just made of something completely different. They're so driven, so driven. Um, I'll go to the rowing club 6 a.m. and the parking spaces are filled up, and these are people who are going to work after. So the dedication is there. Is something about rowing, adrenaline, that just pulls you in. Because like I was saying earlier, is trying to be the best version of yourself. And when you find rowing gives you a way of measuring, truly measuring that. It's an endurance sport. So you sit on this machine when you're training, and you pull as hard as you can, and maybe you die after 1 minute, and then you say to yourself, okay, that's it, I'm coming back tomorrow and I'm going to go for 1 minute and 20 seconds, and then you just keep going and you keep going. And it's not just you. On the same training, you have like 20 people to your right, and they're all doing the same thing. You're all pushing forward. So the mindset for me was, the minute I did my first competition, that was it. I just knew that I just wanted more medals, and I just wanted to push that barrier. And also I'm fully aware that there's only one life, and youth only comes once. So there will be a period where my body would never produce what it could produce yesterday. So I would love to be able to look back and say, this is what I achieved. This is how far I pushed myself. And I know this is how far I could go. And that's what has driven me to now. The actual process itself is something completely different on the day-to-day basis. It's just daily grind.
Did you have to like train for like 4 years, 5 years, 2 years?
Yes. Yeah. So
Um,
I've been on this journey for 5 years. Yeah, for 5 years. In fact, I was looking at an interview that I did for Ascot newspaper, 2016. I was looking at just yesterday, where I was saying that I'm training to try and qualify for the 2020, uh, Paralympics, and then it was so far off. And the process of qualifying is very rigorous. So is a daily grind, of covering like 20 kilometers a day.
yeah, I'm very interested in the process. What's the process
Yeah,
like?
yeah. So it's basically, for me, on a day-to-day basis, I have to do 20 kilometers a day, and that is strength, speed, and endurance. So speed is just, intervals. I don't know if you've ever used a rowing machine before, but
I tried them in the gym, but
yeah.
they're not that friendly. So
Yeah, so speed is where you go as fast as you can, and then you do it over and over and over and over, just to get your body to get into that state where, the last 200 meters of a race you can sprint, and then you have the endurance work where we do long distance. So that's 1 hour sort of time sitting on the and training there. The food is pretty, regimented. So even if you don't feel hungry, you have to eat. You have to, put that carbohydrate into your body to give you the energy, because rowing kind of leans you out. So you don't want to become too lean, because then you lose the power. But you also don't want to become too muscly, because you need the flexibility. So there's that fine balance in between. But it's a lot of work. And 6 days a week I train. I'll be in Avish in Portugal in February, because it's getting colder now, so we're doing more indoor training. Okay. But I would need to go out to a hot location so I can be on the water as well. So usually it will be 6 days on the water, and some also land training involved. So one day rest a week.
Oh,
yeah.
I can say cool, but man, that is so. So where was this the qualification? Where did it happen? How did it happen? How did you take the news?
Oh yeah, so it happened in Tunisia in October. So leading up this, it was the most nervous I've ever been, because everything, like we're just saying, 5 years of training has led up to this, So 2 years before 2020, you sort of know, okay, this is what I'm going for. I'm stepping up all my training, stepping up everything. Everything is on hold. Literally everything is on hold. You have a strong team behind you. So the nerve was there, because everybody knew where you're going. It's like you're going for a job interview and your entire family knows you're going to do this job interview. And not only that, they're depending on you to actually get this job, right? And if you don't, you messed it up. It's your fault. It's nobody else's fault. So that's how it felt for me. Like my whole family, the whole community of rowing, my followers on Instagram, everybody knew, okay, this is what he's going for. And if he qualifies, then he's going to Tokyo. If he doesn't qualify, then someone else is going to Tokyo. He's not going to Tokyo. So on the race, so we have the heats, and then we have rapid charge and a final. I was on the final race. It's never happened to me before. When you're on lined up to race, you're on your own, and everything is quiet. The wind is blowing. This Tunisia, it was quite windy, and the water was very, very choppy, and all I kept thinking is, no matter how strong you think you are, anyone can actually make a mistake, and anyone can have this. So it's no longer, basically it wasn't anyone's to take home. Anyone could win, anyone could lose. And the mind, everything you've been training for, starts flashing back. And I remember just thinking to myself, row your best race. Just concentrate on your own lane. Do what you've trained up to this point. And about 200 meters to the finish, I saw I was ahead, ahead of Sudan and ahead of Tunisia. And I just thought, okay, that's it. If I can just keep this momentum going, 200 meters sounds like a very short distance, but oh my goodness, it was the most painful finishing ever. Yeah, so when I qualified, my Nigerian coaches were there screaming and shouting, the athletes. It was amazing. And to do it in Africa, it was insane. I loved it. Yeah.
Because the thing is, we don't really get too many Paralympians from, or not to my limited knowledge in this aspect or in this arena. So we
Yes.
don't really get them being celebrated or being talked about like other sports
Yeah.
or other
Yeah.
genres.
Yeah. I'm hoping that that would become something that would change. Because anyone who makes it into the Paralympics sport in general, in my eyes, they've already won. Because you have to battle so much to actually get there, you know. Um, and people who have pains, especially people who've been to war and lose a limb and and have phantom pains and all different types of disabilities that have different. You're not even allowed to take any medication, any. So
Serious.
yeah, yeah, because it could be seen as enhancement, to your performance. So to me, they've already won. They have to cope with so much more, and the fact that you're pushing less muscle group to do the same type of job that able-bodied rubber is also doing or athlete is doing. To me, you've already won. So it needs to be celebrated more all over the world, and it's getting there. It's getting there.
Yeah, because this is huge for us. This is huge for me. This is huge for Nigeria. It's not just a family now. This is huge for the
Mhm.
whole of Africa because you representing the whole of Africa right now.
Yes, so
Yeah.
only one boat could qualify. Yeah, yeah. So so this is it. So we definitely have one boat that will be representing the entire continent of Africa in the Paralympics, which will be the first in history. So to make it even better, is not. I don't want to just show up, and I want to come back with a medal. So that is what I'm pushing. I'm pushing for. So in ranking in the whole world, I am number eighth in the world. But that is from let's say from October. Okay, so from a couple of months ago. So since qualifying, I've stepped up everything. Everything I stepped up. But to get into that top three, I have to do what the top three are doing. So top three are people who are athletes full time. They are lottery fund sponsored. What they do from morning till night is train, recover, train, recover, train, recover. So, and that's what your body needs. It needs to go through that shock, that process, so that the abnormal could become normal. You don't just wake up one day and break records. So to do that, I strongly believe I can do it. I know for a fact that I'm built for it. you know at the moment, what I do is I still work as a software developer. So I train, I recover, I work, I train, I recover, I work. So
So
and
how
I
do we
can't
get you? How do we get you to the top three now?
to get to the top three. Basically, is I need sponsors, right? I need the exposure, and that would allow me uh, to pay for coaching sessions and to pay for the time to just train. Um, so the Paralympics is in August
Oh yeah,
2020.
I was about to ask you that. What is the time frame?
Yeah. So it's in August 2020. So I've got, uh, let's say, 6 months from now of solid training to get myself into that medal winning position. And that's my next goal now is just to get the exposure and to get funded.
Yeah, because the thing is, you have over 1 billion people behind you.
Indeed.
Yeah, you have over 1 billion people behind you. So we will take this to the ends of the world from where's it called? From the North Africa to South Africa, and
Thank you.
from east to west, even in middle of Africa. We have to sing this song and make sure that you actually get to the top three.
Absolutely.
So yeah. So
Absolutely.
how are we gonna do that now? We'll do something. We'll just do something that it's going to be easy for everyone to be part of this, because according to Rules from Africa, it takes a village to raise a child. So it's gonna take all of us to push you to the top three, and give you some break from work. So if it's 6 months, we can give you from work. Fine, fair enough. But you need to actually, if this is what you actually want, we need to support that.
Yep.
You've already done the job. You are already a winner. It's just to take Africa to the next step, not just you.
Absolutely. Yeah. And this will open up so much doors for so many countries, rowing wise. And I mean, people with disability are just incredible all over the world. And if we can do this, and the world will take note of this, and the World Rowing Federations will take note of this, and some investing and some publicity can go into a lot of African countries to build up our sports. So Nigeria is not known for rowing, football, music, entertainment, movies, yeah. But we can change that. We can grow that, and that's something that I'm trying to do, is to raise that awareness. Qualifying for the Paralympics is, for me, is half of the job done. The full dream now is make it count. We don't want to just go there and say we showed up. We want to go there and say we won, we did something. And I feel like my history in rowing, from loving the sport to competing and winning and being consistent in the winning, there is something there. The skill, the natural skill is there. What I want to do between now and August 2020 is to maximize the potential by putting in that work that's needed, and doing exactly what the top people are doing and outdoing them. And to do that, I definitely need everyone behind, and that push would make all the difference. Basically, 100% make the difference. But yeah, it's an exciting journey, and I'm very privileged, because I know this is a huge privilege. It's not something that I got through. It's not something I got through planning. It's almost like it's almost like an anointing, because so many things happened randomly to put me in. I didn't go searching for this. It happened almost like a miracle, and I want to make sure that I'm prepared.
If we walk into your family now and they say, who is the athlete in the family, will they who?
I know exactly. Even if you think about that, yeah. So I'm from a big family, and everyone, I'm the one with the disability, So if you asked us, say, oh, who's going to be an athlete in this family, the person whose hand will not go up is me, because I didn't see that. So it was never in my mind. So I didn't let disability stop me. I still, participated with my friends when they play football and stuff. But I didn't have this dream, that I'm going to become an athlete. And it just happened almost like it was meant to be. And I would hate to not be prepared when the time calls. So that's between now, I want to be prepared. Because as an athlete, there's no one you could blame. You can't, in a race, say, okay, I lost the race because the weather on my lane wasn't better than, it was worse than the lane next to me. Preparation has to meet opportunity and has to meet time. So that preparation is something that I need from people, and everything else I can put in. Yeah.
And we can see that you've proven that time and time again, that you can actually put your mind to stuff and make it happen. So for these regards, the support from over 1 billion people who I'm counting on right now, all over the world, from Africa and lovers of Africa, and even lovers of the sport. There are more than 1 billion people. So either by ethnicity or by whatever it is, we need to put our support towards Kingsley's Paralympics top 3 goal. So either way, he must come home with something. Now they hear me. He must come home with something. So that is my own support for you. And what we'll do is, as we've earlier mentioned, we will like create maybe a GoFundMe page where we link it to your what was the name of your site?
So Lagos to Tokyo.com.
Lagos to Tokyo.
Yeah,
So we'll drive all traffic towards you and see how the support goes, because I believe that we are 100%, 200%, 300% behind you for
thank you
this.
very
And
much.
we'll make sure that your dream of the top 3 and changing perspectives regards even the next man, the next guy that thinks he's disabled next door, that thinks that he can't even do anything, with you being on the podium and from Africa.
Yeah,
So
talent is everywhere.
yeah. So you'll be inspiring them because there's so much talent.
Yeah.
Regardless of your ability, everyone is talented. So
yeah, and the rest of the world, they're all developing everybody. So we also need to catch up, and so we send footballers around the world, and we have para sports. We have everything from wheelchair basketball to rowing to so many weightlifting. So many sports cover the full spectrum, and so developing everybody to achieve their potential, because we all encourage each other. So if I can do it, you can definitely do it. So in my opinion, is a good course. Absolutely.
yeah, and it has to do with this as well. What you actually tell yourself.
Yes, mindset. Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah.
So Kingsley, I am very grateful to be in your presence today. It is an
Thank
amazing
you.
feat that you have.
Likewise.
What you've achieved. It's making over 1 billion people proud. So you are already a hero, and
Thank you very much.
we will try our best to make sure that we give you all the support. I'm quite confident that we can give you all the support that you need. So within now and 6 months' time. So without any further ado, we'll start kicking off stuff.
Thank you very much.
Towards making you to prepare properly.
Awesome. I look forward to keeping you updated, and hopefully I'll be back again to your podcast.
Yeah, definitely. In 3 months' time, we'll revisit your progress, and maybe this time it's gonna be a one-on-one where we either we come to Malo or we come visit you in Portugal and see how you're doing over there.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so keep up to date. And guys, listen, what Kingsley has achieved is no mean feat. If you have focused for even 90 days, you know what I'm talking about. Not to talk about being focused, mentally prepared for 4 years, 5 years. Now he has done it. He has achieved the qualification of going to the Paralympics in Tokyo, August 2020. Now he wants to step it up. He has taken Africa to the world show now, but now he needs to step it up. Now with your support, he just wants to be more focused and he can do that. He said he can do that. And I believe that he can do that. So now he wants to, if you look at his track record from October till now, he has gone up his ranking to the 8th place in the world. So now he wants to take it to the top 3 in the next 6 months, which I know he can. So we just need to be more supportive of this guy and show more love, show more encouragement, and push him up. When he can't push himself, we have to keep pushing him to make sure that, listen, we are 120% behind you. We are 200%. We are 1,000% behind you to make sure that we know you're already a winner, but whatever you want to take it to, we are behind you. So the website is lagostotokyo.com. What is the website again, please?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, from Lagos to Tokyo.
Lagos to Tokyo, one word.com.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So if you check on the link, you see a donate page, a GoFundMe page, whatever you see there, whatever you can do to support this ministry, support this movement. Any last word, Kingsley, before we wrap up?
I'm just so happy to be on your show, and thanks for spreading the word. And I'm dedicated to the work, and the work is ongoing. And so I look forward to updating people and letting you know. So if you go to lagos2tokyo.com, you will see some of the videos. So just so you can see what it looks like, and the journey and the story and so on. So I'll be keeping you updated. I'm sure I'll be back to speak with Victor, so we can see where we are.
Definitely,
So
you'll be back. This is your home. The Diaspora Chiefs community will definitely be behind you, and we are grateful for your time today. We need to let you go now because you are a champion, so we don't want to take too much of your time. Go back to training and let us do the work for you.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Kingsley. All right, bye.